And we have a program long time ago of establishing 200 churches in our organization. We divided in Soma, Norma, Suba, whatever, and North Luzon, Southern Luzon, all of that. He was one of our top leaders. And you know what? The idea there is to have a group of people and invite their friends, relatives, and they form a fellowship, a core group, and all of that. And later on, you have a church because relatives and friends that were invited hear the gospel, convicted of their sin, turn to Christ for repentance. That's how they form the church. And we were so successful in that. In that endeavor. Now, of course, the word eros is simply a love for romantic lovers. Have you seen lovers that are not romantic? Oh, even old folks that fall in love, they're still romantic. And this is the word for eros, for between husband and wife, between people who are falling in love. And that is the word eros. Like I said, the word itself is not in the Bible, but the idea is all over in the Bible. Now, that is the quick definition and description of this word love. In English, they're all one word. It's up to you to find out whether that is friendly love or romantic love. And that's why some people got confused. How come this person said, he loves me? And so she interpreted in a romantic way. But all it is a friendly love. And sometimes she said, oh, she loves me. This is a friendly love. Some people get mad, but you have to understand where it comes from. And others already get excited about it. So in the English, we can get confused with the English use of the word love, but then you need to understand by reading the rest of the words around the word love, or by listening to what really they're saying. Because you could be confused, oh, this man is ready to propose, when in fact, he was just, friendly to you, or the other way around. So we come now to the characters of love. We'll just look into one of the characters, and that is, every love has an object. You see, so when they had finished breakfast, and that itself is an act of love. And Jesus don't have to prepare breakfast for this man, but he did it anyway. And they ate the breakfast that Jesus prepared. So when they had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than this? Now, which one is he referring to when he said this? Most likely, some commentators, most likely Jesus was pointing to the fish. John must be there. Why? He got that number, 153. Boy, you have to be really depressed to count it. He must be one of those who counted how many fish, because he said 153. He could have rounded up to 150, but he said 153. And when Jesus asked Peter, do you love me more than this? Most likely, he was referring to the fish. Because he went back fishing. This is his profession that he has left long time ago, since the day he followed Jesus. He was a professional fisherman when Jesus called him. By the way, he was so blessed by somebody giving us that trip to the Holy Land, because we went to the very spot where the tour guide says, this is the place where Jesus called Peter to become fishers of men. Wow, that's a very nice place. And in fact, they cordoned off the stone that is leading there, because with thousands of people stepping in there, that stone might disappear someday. So they cordoned it, they take pictures there. And that's a nice place. And when Jesus called Peter that day, he left his net and followed Jesus, because Jesus said, I'm going to make you a fisher of men. What if Jesus would do that to you today? Leave your profession and go to Zimbabwe or, you know, Batangas, whatever. Uh, Lorena smiling. Maybe she's thinking going missionary. I don't know. Because sometimes it's people who are listening that God calls. That's why some people didn't want to listen, because I won't be called. But most likely, Jesus was pointing to the fish because, remember at the beginning of the chapter, Peter said, I'm going to go fishing. He's expert on that. And the sons of Zebedee, which is John and James, I'll go with you. The doubter Thomas said, I'll go with you, plus two more, that's not mentioned, total of 7, went out fishing. And they have already left that, but Jesus has not showed up yet. They were waiting for him, and finally, do you feel sometimes bored of things, and no activity? And maybe that's how Peter feels this whole thing. You know? Jesus died, he come back to life. How come he doesn't tell us what to do? And here, according to John, this is the 3rd time that Jesus appeared to them. Now, this might not be the only time or the 3rd time itself, but in the reckoning of John, based on his gospel, this is the 3rd one. But maybe this is not the 3rd, it says in the overall appearances of Jesus, but only in this gospel, he said this is the 3rd time. So when he asked Peter on this subject, do you love me? He said, yes, Lord. You know that I love you. And Jesus said to him, tend my sheep. Again, in the English, they're all L-O-V-E. Oh, but in the original, they're not the same love. Because when Jesus says, do you love me? He used the word agape. Do you love me sacrificially, unconditionally? Are you willing to go all the way? That's the meaning of the word agape. Not just an ordinary love that, you know, see you next time. We'll go out coffee again. No, that's this is a total commitment love. Just like what Jesus did on the cross. When he loves you, he was determined to carry that cross all the way. No matter how painful, no matter the sacrifice, whatever it may be. And that's the kind of love that Jesus was asking Peter. And Peter said, I love you. But he did not say agape. He used the word phileo. It's not the same kind of love. This is the love that, I love you intimately, you know, I like to have coffee with you when you have time. I like to do this, but not, you know, total commitment, things like that. So he asked him again the 2nd time, still the same agape. And Peter responded, phileo. Because every time they finish, he says, tend my lamb. Do you know how hard it is to take care of God's lamb? Like myself and yourself. Somebody said when I was in Phoebus, by the way, my pastor graduated in Phoebus, you know, my guest. When I was in Phoebus, every Monday we have like, you know, students report. And I don't forget this guy, you know, ours, because weekend you have everybody who goes to school, you know, they have to serve in a church. And you know, he said, you know, the people in the church where I serve, man, they are so stubborn, they're so hard-headed. And somebody said, they're not sheep, they must be goats. Because supposedly Christians are sheep, right? Oh, but you know, some of them, they do have horns. And so that's why the jokes around it. Maybe the people in your church are not Lamb of God. They must be goats of the Lord. And show off their horn. Maybe your job there is to cut off their horns. So, but anyway, and this thing that Jesus is telling Peter, maybe this is too much for Peter. He can't go all the way that much. Yeah, I love you, but not the kind of love that you're talking about. That's why he responded in phileo love. Oh, I'll go with you only that far, Lord. Do you know that a lot of people are like that? I'll go to church, but only that far. Only to that door. But when it comes to sacrifice and everything like that, they're not about ready to go that far. Yeah, I'll give offering, but only what is left on my budget and things like that. I'm not going to go far than that. But later on, that's when the PC people, they give sacrificial offering. You know that? But you give them time, because later on they'll see the power of God's love happen in their life. So I don't be too discouraged sometimes. So he asked him again the third time, Peter, do you love me? This time he used the word Philip. He come down to the level of Peter. Do you know that sometimes God will come down to your level? Just so you can understand Him. Because if God will stay here and you're down here, you can't see Him. I can't understand that. Well, sometimes you have to really come down where they are. And isn't that what God says in Isaiah? Come now, let us reason together, said the Lord. Though your skin seems to be scarlet, it shall be like snow. Those shall be red like crimson, they shall be like wool. In other words, here's God coming down to the level of man. He said, come now, let us reason together, said the Lord. Let's face to face with your sin. Let's talk about it in level plane. And sometimes that's what God does. In order for us to be raised higher to where we are, He comes down. He's willing to come down. He came down all the way to carry your cross. That's how powerful the love of God. And so here, Jesus came down to the level of Peter. Okay, Peter, that's where you want to stay. Let's settle it that way. Now we can talk more about that. You see, here is the object of God's love. You see, the object of Jesus' love are the disciples. You and I are the object of Jesus' love. That's why you remain until today, because you are the object of His love. And He calls other people who claim that they have Jesus to minister to your need and my need. You notice that? They're not being paid to pray for you, to visit you, but because they have Jesus, they'll do it for you. And that's what Jesus is telling Peter. Would you make my lamb the object of your love? Because love, for it to be real, has to have an object. Has to have an object. Love cannot exist without an object. Love must always be directed to someone or to something. That's why when a man loves his wife, or the wife loves the husband, and then the object is shifted. If I say, I don't love you anymore, it doesn't mean that that person doesn't have anyone to love. No, he just shifted his love to something else. That's the cause of divorce, because as long as the love of that person is focused, the object is that same person, it'll continue. Oh, but the moment that's no longer the object of love, it's now to the secretary or to the boss, whatever, then the trouble will come along the way, because the object is now shifted. But as long as the same. And when the Bible says, for God so loved the world, the object of His love is this sinful world. That's you and I. When it says the Father loves the Son, that's why even before the rest of creation was made, who was there before God made the angels? Because He created the angels. Before He created the angels, who was there? Only God. John 1:1, the beginning was the Word. You see, but love already exists, because there are three persons. There is already the Father loves the Son loves the Father. The object of love is already, that's why love was existing even though there was no one else to love, because there are already three of them in the object of that love. Without the object, God cannot exist. Love cannot exist. And everything in this universe that has an iota of love, that love comes from God. We're not the only one that expresses love. In that balcony that you have built, the birds build a nest. And I saw them having love all the time. Why? Because the mama bird will bring food to the baby bird that she loves. I mean, this love is expressed all over the place. But they all came from God, who is what? The source of all love. Oh, but everything that God does or has given to man, almost without exception, has been corrupted by man. Including love. One of the most corrupted, beautiful things that God has given to man was corrupted by man. Hey, man, I love you, man. And yet, that's not the kind of love that God is talking about. Don't bring that guy to a place where his mind be corrupted just because you love the man. See, love was supposed to be beautiful. That's the way God designed it, because it came from Him. But today, people use the word love in a corrupt way. Corrupt way. Freedom is another thing that God has given. And yet freedom is used by man, not always in